far, nobody's ever been successful with that, though. And so
once you finally call it, you have to go through all this, like, all this work to just get in there and actually do something about it. Like, it's not as simple as saying, oh, this is a genocide, now let's go do something about it. You actually have to go through a lot of legal process.
Oh yeah, this is something we should say. Darfur is, at least U.S. recognized as being a genocide right now. And the thing is, we can't do anything but send humanitarian aid at the moment. And the reason is, people are saying, well, why can't we just go and send military troops in? The problem is, the Darfur government, or the Sudanese government, either has to accept our troops in willingly, or we have to declare war on their country of U.S. versus Sudan. So that's a big problem, because nobody wants to just declare war for this
unless
other
there's
nation.
oil, but go ahead.
Because we're already.
Well, we'll not get into that whole topic.
That's a whole other.
That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, but that's the biggest problem with Darfur basically right now, is that the Sudanese government is not letting anybody in, obviously, and nobody wants to declare war on them because they don't want to waste their country's resources seemingly for something that's not going to give them any benefit for their own country.
Well, and we're already in 2 wars.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's also worth pointing out that historically speaking, there's no international intervention until you start taking your genocide out of your own borders.
That's true.
I mean, look at Stalin's forced famine. There's 7 million deaths, but they were all in Russia, so that's okay.
Right.
But then you get, Nazi Germany starting to invade Poland and southern France, and oh wait, that's wrong. Nope.
Yep.
But the international scale only comes into play when you start making it an international incident.
I was having a discussion the other night about that very fact, that until World War II broke out, the United States was extremely complacent about the plight of the Jewish people, and because it wasn't, and other unmentionables within society. Because I think in but before war broke out between the United States and Germany, there was a boat that was sent over with Jewish refugees to the United States, seeking refuge because of the final solution of the German people against the Jews. But the United States ended up turning away a boat full of Jewish refugees and sent them back to in Florida we sent away Jewish refugees seeking refuge, and they went to Cuba. Cuba turned them away, and then they went to Britain, and Britain turned them away, and they ended up going straight back to Germany. And I think it was 400 and some odd people on that boat, and I think only I think no more than 10 survived the Nazi camps.
Yeah.
No more than 10. So, like that, I think that's a perfect example, whether it be from then to this day, how much the international community is willing to do anything to help,
And how important
refugees.
it is that we do help. How important it is to, it's no country's responsibility to take in all of these citizens from another country, but, countries that have the ability to take in some, I feel that they should help a little bit, because if they have the means and the ways, that's going to save a lot of lives.
And when you say that, what countries are you talking about?
Any country that can, basically.
Like the U.S.
The U.S., Britain, Chad, they're doing it.
And what if we
any country, anywhere around the world.
I say forget. I'm sorry. I say forget countries. It's a human responsibility.
That's what I'm saying.
And if those, if as an international body in the United Nations, if our laws don't meet, if our credo doesn't express the necessary passion in order to do something like this, if the United Nations laws contradict our ability to help people, then we need to look at what our fundamental credo is. We need to understand what is it as a United Nations organization do we value, and do we need to restructure that in order to better facilitate taking care of each other as a human family.
Well, that's true, and a lot of times, though, a lot of countries are hesitant to do something about it. A lot of representatives in the UN are hesitant because they don't want to put their own country at risk.
Yeah.
What if we didn't even make it about the government and about tax dollars and about whatever? What if we brought it down to an individual level? Why don't we have foundations for this? Why don't we have individuals offering housing who are saying, hey, you're in a bad situation, I can take in, 1 or 2 people, And we get 1 million people across the world doing that, and that's, they take
There's no awareness, there's no
exactly,
precedent
there's
for
no
that.
awareness.
We're not on the same
There's
page.
no precedent for that, and it's possible that our government wouldn't even allow individuals to do that.
Well,
That's
I
what
think
I'm
we
saying.
see like
It's
churches
possible.
doing that, but I think there are like organizations that do that. But I think when we want to say governments, because governments operate on such a massive scale, that I think we attribute like things getting done to a government, which is kind of oxymoronic.
But the thing is, they prevent
fond of
things
big
from being
government.
done all the time.
Okay, like that's
We
what
want to
Shanice.
trust them.
Hold on a second.
Oh, I just wanted to comment on that, to touch on the whole thing when other countries are not wanting to help other countries. This can't help me think of when segregation was taking place and how, like, they were trying to bring, like, the blacks to the north because slavery was, slowly going away there, and everyone was kind of just, like, afraid because of the whole fact that the South, they still wanted slavery to go on down there, and so they kind of wanted to be together as a state, and if they're accepting all these people who need help, which the South doesn't want anymore, then it makes them look bad, and it would make us look bad, too, if we took in all these refugees from different countries, and we can barely take care of the people in our own country. You know what I mean? So it kind of just puts a bad look on it, like the whole thing, in Haiti, it's kind of like off topic, but in Haiti when the big thing happened there, it's like, oh, these people are starving, these people have no homes, we have to take care of them. Haiti's always been starving, okay? They always had no homes. Why is it now that they have a natural disaster, we choose to
All of a
help
sudden
them?
we care.
Exactly. So I just think that it just makes us look a little bad because here we're taking in these people, we can't even take care of ourselves right now or want to help people who really need it before something big happens like this.
We're not consistent.
We're not consistent at all.
It's all about
That's
media.
why we did help with Katrina, though. I can say that, like, we did not us as
There
people,
are some
but
cases
there are
that will argue that
But
there were
Katrina
certain
happened
people
here.
that will But that's a different discussion.
but some people were brought within
Yeah.
the United States. It's not like it wasn't a global thing. People from Katrina didn't go to like Africa or or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's sad to say, but the U.S. does take care of the U.S. Usually, it's the U.S. first.
Oh yeah.
Well,
It's not.
Sometimes.
no,
Yeah, sometimes.
you know what? I want
What
to make a
kind of
comment. I
people
think
influence?
we are selfish, but at the same time, the United States gives more than any other country in the entire world.
That's true.
Like I want to say, I
Monetarily,
love this
yeah.
country. Hurrah! We do give more. I mean, proportionally speaking, that's another
We
thing.
have groups
But
that give more than our government does.
well, yeah, well, the wealth of the United States is not within the government, but within the private corporations.
Right.
And the amount of money that's given by private corporations is amazing, and churches and all that sort of stuff.
Private donations,
Yeah.
but it's not government usually.
Which is why it needs to be made aware for people to be on that personal level, because the government, yes, the government needs to be taking care of our own citizens before the citizens of the world, but we have individuals in our country, in European countries, and other industrialized nations that they can take care of themselves and then some.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is where you can take care of yourself and then some, you need to be starting to look on a more humanitarian level.
Give back.
Interesting fact. Okay, I guess I'm going to use a small example first for what I'm going to say. Hudson's Bay High School has, compared to, they're not the poorest school in, like, say, this area, but they are definitely not one of the richest. They have, typically the families make less than most of the families from other high schools around the area. Yet at their yearly fundraiser, Mr. Hudson's Bay, where they raise money for Dornbecker's Hospital, they raise more money than any other school anywhere close to us. And that seems to be a pattern all over the world, all over communities. The people who are in more need and who have experienced maybe poverty, homelessness, they give more to charity. And you go to towns, cities that are that have lower or higher rates of poverty, they have way higher rates of donations than you see in neighborhoods where nobody's hurting. Because I think kind of like out of sight, out of mind, people who have never experienced anything, hardships in their life, they don't think of it, so they're not going to try to fix it. And the same thing goes for genocide. People who aren't educated, who aren't aware, who don't know how detrimental it is to not only the people it's happening to, but everywhere, or everyone all over the world. If they don't know, they're not going to try to do anything to help, because it's, they're going to think about what's happened to them personally, and they want to fix maybe problems that have happened to them.
And studies and cases show that people who are from lower cost areas think more